just a dragon that I do not want to face. That one can be a little tricky to defeat. Hello and welcome to Adventures of Deanna. I'm Deanna and I'm on a quest to lose over 100 pounds. And in my quest, I am using the Hero's Journal. I am not sponsored. It's just something that I mention because it is really helping me on my quest to lose over 100 pounds. And exciting news, the Hero's Journal. This one is the Astoria Magic Academy journal, but they are coming out with a new journal, and the theme, oh man, it's a space theme. It's a Star Wars theme. It's the Astoria Galaxy Quest or something journal. So it's going to be pretty exciting whenever that comes out. But for now, I'm on the Astoria Magic Academy journal, and it is just absolutely fascinating. I love this journal so very much because it covers, what you're grateful for, what you're going to do to seize the day, what are your threats, what are your allies in order to get the things done that you need to get done. So I have thoroughly been enjoying this journal a lot. Let's talk about my week this week, and thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that you clicked on this video. If you do like it, please click the like button, and don't forget to click subscribe so that you can follow me on my adventure to lose over 100 pounds. So this week, I weighed in on Friday last week and I was 209, and that was terrible. Going in the wrong direction, doing things wrong. Like, I had started tracking and my mind went crazy with it, and it just thought, you can just track whatever you eat so you can eat whatever you want. And I wasn't following the basics of eating whenever I'm hungry and stopping whenever I was satisfied. I felt like if I wanted a snack, I could have a snack just simply because I wanted it and not because I was really actually honoring my body and what my body needed, which is a habit that I've really tried hard to incorporate into my life. It just, and I was disappointed that this one small little change could really affect how I thought. So that was disappointing to me for sure. I decided, okay, that's not going to happen again. We cannot have another repeat of this. We've got to move forward. My quest, my mini goal right now is to get under 200 pounds by the end of the year. And that's my focus. That's my mini goal. That is, what I am 100% focused on right now. My job has been so busy over the last 45 days. I have been working nights and weekends and all day, and I've had really no time to myself. But this week, the greatest ally that I could have had was I got a weekend off work. And as soon as I knew that I wasn't going to have to work, I started looking up, where do I want to go hiking? I need to get outside. I need to go and have some time with nature. So I started looking up places to go, and I found this place, this Sandstone Canyon Trail, which was just amazing. And I have a video coming out on Wednesday of that hiking. But that hike was the greatest ally that I could have had in my weight loss quest, because it helped give me time to clear my head. It gave me time to focus on my North Star. So my North Star is also my why. It's what drives me to lose the weight. And right now, I'm down 60 pounds from my original start weight, and I have probably about another 60 pounds more to lose. It's really easy at this point in the process to forget about your whys. Whenever you're at your heaviest weight, you are, you feel bad. You don't feel good. You're tired. You're fed up with yourself. There's so many different emotions, and whenever you start losing weight, you're really just running away from all of that negative feelings about yourself. And as you start to lose the weight, and as you discover this self-love that you do have for yourself, once you start feeling that, once you start feeling better, once you can move more freely, once all of these things are there, it's a lot harder to really focus on those whys because you're feeling really good. But we need to focus on those whys. So one of my whys was that trail was a little bit hard. It was a little bit difficult for me. There was a lot of times that I was really breathing really, really heavy on it, and it was difficult. One of my whys is so that I can do that more easily. I want to find more adventure in my life. So it helps me to really reconnect with my North Star, with my why. So let's talk about my threats. So a big threat to me is making excuses and not getting my walks in. It's a simple little 45, 30-minute walk every single day. And it's something that I like to do in the morning. I know myself, and I know that if I don't get that walk in the morning, it's probably not going to get done. Well, the weather has been quite fall-like. It's been cold and wet and rainy, and I have another excuse. I have another threat in my life. It's that my dog can't go for walks right now. He's on walk restriction. He's only allowed to go on short 5 to 10 minute potty break, sniff and smell walks. He's not able to do the vigorous walks. And one of the reasons I used to always walk was to get his energy out so that he would be a good dog. So I no longer have him as my ally to get my walks in. And then I have the threat of the weather. So walking can be quite difficult. So Monday, whenever I woke up, it was cold, it was wet, it was rainy, I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to do my walk. But I thought to myself, this is really, really important to me. So I slayed that dragon. Mind you, no actual dragons were hurt in the filming of this video. But I slayed that dragon. I got up and I did a YouTube walking video. And it was this lady, I can't remember her name right now, but her name was Brandy something. And it was this 7,000 steps to 80s music. And oh my gosh, if you're around my age, I'm like, in my 40s. But if you were a fan of the 80s, this is a great walking video. You just never know what song is going to come on next, and it really keeps you going and walking and getting those steps in. And as we approach this Derek's Journeys Step Challenge for November, if you're participating in it, let me know in the comments down below. But if you're participating in it, it's a good way to get our steps in. We need to have many different methods. So like if the weather isn't good, do we have a way to get our steps done indoors? And this is just another tool that you can use. So I'm going to link that video in the description box below. So that was a huge ally, and it helped me to slay that dragon of making sure I get my steps in. Tuesday, I am one of my biggest threats, and I am also one of my biggest allies. And on Tuesday, I decided that I was going to be my own threat. Loki had an appointment with the vet to get his x-rays done, and I thought to myself, you know what, I don't want to walk in the morning whenever it's dark outside. I would much rather walk in the afternoon whenever it's sunny. So I started work early, thinking that later in the day I would just take a longer lunch break and get my walk in. That didn't happen. Lunchtime came, I found an excuse, I found a reason, I found a justification, and I didn't get those steps in. Just didn't do it. Flat out didn't do it. And that's why I am my own threat. On Wednesday, I had another huge threat come up that wanted to stop me in my tracks of my weight loss quest. And again, it was related to getting those steps in. What had happened was I went to upload my hiking video that I talked to you guys about. I had spent hours editing this video on Sunday, the day after my hike, and I was so excited to post it. I don't know if you guys are gonna like the video, but don't forget to subscribe and come back on Wednesday to check out that video. But I was so excited. I was really proud of the video, and I was going to go to upload it, and it was gone. I guess I didn't save? Like, how do you not save? It's like, basic 101 in life is to always be saving. I didn't click save. So all the edited footage was gone. At least I, still had all of the original files. I just had to go back and re-edit them. So here I am sitting at my desk, 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, thinking, okay, I'm just gonna go and edit this video real quick. So there's no real quick. There's no real quick. It took me hours to edit. And I'm sitting there and I'm fiddling around and I'm playing with it and I'm doing things and I'm like, Deanna, you cannot do this today. You did not get your steps in yesterday. There is no way that you cannot get your steps in today. You need to do this. And luckily, here I am, being my own ally on this particular occasion. I got to slay another dragon. And I got out there and I went for my walk and I got my steps in and I had that sense of accomplishment. I was happy with myself and it helped boost me throughout the day. Thursday was just a regular, routine, normal day. So for my week, my steps looked pretty good. I was getting that minimum of 7,000 steps. I only didn't hit the 7,000 steps on 2 days, and one was Sunday, which I give my day a rest day every single week where I don't have to worry about steps. Like 1 day a week, it doesn't have to be a priority. And then that other day, which was Tuesday, where I didn't get my steps in. So, but other than that, I always hit my minimum of 7,000 steps. And on Saturday, I got like 15,000 steps on Saturday. So all in all, I did a very good job with that. Also with my eating, which is the most important thing whenever you're on a quest to lose weight, is your eating. I was really able to listen to my body, eat whenever I was hungry, stop whenever I was satisfied. I was really focused on getting my water in. A lot of times, if you are not getting your water in, if you are not properly hydrated, your body's going to give you false signals of hunger. So it's very important to remain hydrated as best as you can. And I was also able to get my sleep in. Again, sleep is very important. It helps run different things in your body and keeps you running right. It helps all kinds of things. That's for a different video. Let's not get into that tangent. So my water was great. My sleep was great. I was eating whenever I was hungry. I was stopping whenever I was satisfied. I was putting things into MyFitnessPal and tracking my calories. And my calories were around, 1,600, 1,500 every single day. So I was being consistently hitting the same amount of calories, which is also good. It was a really good week. So whenever I stepped on the scale this week on Friday, I weighed in at 207.8, which is a 1.2 pound loss for the week, which I'm so excited about. Like, I cannot be happier. I just want to continue that on. I want to keep up with this momentum because my goal, my mini goal, my quest is to get under 200 pounds by the end of the year. So with hard work and dedication, I will get there. So happy Halloween. It's the end of the month. So it's time for November. For November, I am doing Derek's Journey's Step Challenge. I'm really excited to be doing the step challenge. I feel like it gives me a little bit of extra oomph and a little bit of drive in order to get, additional steps in and to stay active. And that's really important for me during the month of November because of the weather change, because it's going to be getting colder and it's, not as inviting outside. So it's good to have a little extra motivation in order to get those steps in. So I'm really excited for Derek's Journey Step Challenge just because it just helps me out a little bit instead of just saying, okay, let's go to this bare minimum of 7,000. It helps me to do just like that little bit extra. And I love to get out and to walk, and it feels good, and it's a great time for me to really, do some thinking and things that help me be a better me. So I'm excited for the Derek's Journey's Step Challenge. The challenge that I am not participating in November, and no offense to anyone that is the Limit Your Sugar Challenge that Find Fitness with Sharon. And, part of me wanted to kind of just avoid the conversation. But there was another part of me that thought, hey, I should probably, talk about this and my viewpoints on it and why it is that I am not participating in the Limit Your Sugar Challenge. Now, we all have different perspectives and ways that we see things or hear things or whatever. So for me, the thought of limiting my sugar is not a good thought. And I just don't want to, it's so hard to bring this up because I just don't want to discourage anyone from participating, or I don't want to upset anyone. But I have a question first. Have you ever had a Last Supper? So before you started a diet, did you have the Last Supper? So you went out and you got that big meal. You had the pizza. You had the whatever. So very common. Let me know down in the comments below if you've ever had a Last Supper before. So common. A lot of people do it, hear it all the time. You have a Last Supper, and then you start your diet, and you're restricting certain foods. You're restricting your calories. You're restricting different things. And then time goes on, and you start to feel frustrated from the restriction. And then you start to have cravings. So you give in to those cravings. You give in to that feeling of restriction, and you give in. You eat whatever it is that you were limiting. You possibly binge because of all these thoughts that you have, and then that makes you feel shameful. Then you feel bad, and then you want to feel good, and you want to start your diet again. So it's a whole cycle. So the thought of limiting sugar, it's something that I already typically tend to do. I try to steer away from processed foods, sugars, all of these things most of the time. But it's not something that I count and track, and I'm really minute about it. But by saying I'm going to limit my sugars, that triggers different thoughts in my brain that could trigger that diet cycle. Restriction, cravings, give in, binge, feel terrible. And I'm trying to move away from things like that, all things in moderation. Right now is not a good time for me to do a challenge like limiting sugar. So we're supposed to do it for 21 days, and it's supposed to start on the 1st. Well, today is Halloween. So if tomorrow I'm going to be limiting my sugars, if I were participating in this challenge, I would think, well, I better get my sugars in now. And oh gee, how convenient. I have this Halloween candy hanging out right here. So let me have 1, 2, 3 more than I normally would have had pieces of candy, because tomorrow starts the restriction. And then I go for 21 days. I'm doing really good. I'm limiting my sugar. I'm looking at all my packages. Ooh, how much sugar is in this? And I'm doing great, and I'm limiting my sugar, and it's all great and awesome. Well, then what happens? The challenge ends. And when does it end? Thanksgiving. So now here I am with all of these Thanksgiving pies. Just calling my name, because you know what? I've limited my sugar, and now I'm no longer limiting my sugar. So am I going to eat a normal, reasonable serving of this sugar, of these pies? Well, probably not, because I've been in restriction mode versus just being mindful, eating whenever I'm hungry, stopping whenever I'm satisfied, thinking about, just whole foods, wholesome foods. Just trying to, think about what is going to nourish my body in the best possible way. So I'm not doing the challenge because of psychology. It's nothing against the challenge, and I think that anybody that can do it, again, it's a matter of perspective. If you have this perspective that, it's not a negative thing, it's not a bad thing, or you feel like you've got 100% control, then, more power to you. But my perspective on it is what I just explained, and that's why I'm not doing the November challenge of limit your sugar. The sugar challenge is just a dragon that I do not want to face. That one can be a little tricky to defeat. For this upcoming week, my goals are pretty much the same. I'm going to continue to get a gallon of water every day. I'm going to get at least 7 hours of sleep every single night. I'm going to try and get a minimum of 7,000 steps, but it's probably gonna move up to 10 as soon as the 1st of November hits. I'm going to eat whenever I'm hungry, stop whenever I'm satisfied, and I'm just gonna track my calories for curiosity's sake only, not to hit a certain target. So those are my goals for the week. I hope to see you guys next week with great news. I will see you then, and as always, it's gonna be an adventure.